Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. I hit that stool again for the 50th time, but I was just going to take you guys on a little trip down how I start a page. And this is a Delusions journal. It's a jumpstart journal, which I've had many of those. And I'm using this big fat Posca marker, and going around this edge. I think this Posca marker is about out, and I notice a lot of them have these little hairs coming off of them. I guess if you use them to color a lot of space at a time, I guess it'll wear it down. I try to draw a line when I color instead of back and forth, even though that's what I was doing over there. And the way I start a page, of course I go through my stash, and you know, like I said, going from one of these baskets that I have, going from one basket to the next and I went through and made a lot of images last night, but we'll go ahead and walk through my journal and I'll show you, because I've done a lot of pages. But every morning I'll start with the back of my journal, and I don't know why, that's just my rhyme and reason, but I'll start with the back of my journal because I don't know what I've worked on, what I've not, and I will add things. Like this one here, I've added this, and I've added this, and this is the rub-on from Dollar Tree. And I've said it before, you got to be really careful with the rub-ons from Dollar Tree. Whenever you use one, you can't take the whole page and lay it there. Just like if I wanted just that one, I couldn't rip this off and lay it there, because whatever's there, all those will go down on there too. So if I wanted just that one, you just have to cut that one out. So anyway, I start with the back and walk through. And I've added this little lady, you know, different head to a different body. I think I've added this doodling. I've added these words and this dog. Let's see if I can move this over a little bit. I love this little girl. She's so stinking cute. And every image is from a different page, down to the shoes, the socks, the pocketbook, the skirt, the shirt, the face, the glasses, and the hat. Everything's from a different page. But I just think she's stinking cute. And this here was another one of those pages where I put them together. And I just thought I would do my stencil when I went over in the black. I would only do it over the blue. I mean, I don't know if you recognize that just by looking at it at a glance, but... And normally I don't do 2 focal points. I usually do 1, but just to mix it up. And this one I did a week ago, and I decided to add a border all the way around. This is the one I did on camera the other day. And this was the one where I blocked it out like she did, but mine's more vibrant. Which, you know, this here isn't paint. This here was, you know, mass produced. And this one here, I believe I went back and added this border. I think I added the stamp. I added the word stamp. Done this one the other day, and I keep debating on whether I want to add border to this or not. And I added this, these two eyes. It looks like a face, abstract face. And added this little lady, put the table, this body to another head. This one here I'm still working on. I was working on this yesterday. I happened to get this image and happened to find her and said, oh, well, she'll fit on top of her head, and then with another face. Oh, and this one here, you know, I did have to add these, cut these out of a, you know, place in a magazine that had a lot of black in it, and then went around it in the white. I'm gonna have to come back to this page. This one here I'm still working on. I added her yesterday. I went around the letters, and I added dots. And actually, these dots here, I had actually bought this Cinear 3D liner. It's getting to be where it's hard to use, because the further down it gets, it's the harder you gotta squeeze. And then when you squeeze hard, then you might shoot out more than you need, and it might make a peak. So a lot of times when it makes a peak, I'll go back with a little bit of sandpaper and actually go over it, just so they won't be so rough. And I'm going to add some more to this, but I don't think I've added anything here. But the other day I got to looking at my journal, and I said, you know, I have a lot of empty spaces, and I thought that you know, I sure have collected a lot of words. So that's when I thought, well, I'm going to just go through the journal and add words to pages to fill them in. This was one of them. And actually, all this was together. And as you can see, I've cut it all apart. But I thought I'll use those up. And here again, I took a blue page in a magazine, the one that has the jewelry on it, but it has a lot of blue space. Yeah, that took a while. And here's the one I showed you all the other day that I didn't know what to do with that dress. And I went over it with the green and red. And then I went over it with the stencil on both pages. Then I added these little pictures. I added the lady's face up here, which I thought I was going to do something else with it. And I nixed it because, well, I didn't even have the whole lip in the photo. But as I was going through seeing where I was going to put her, I stopped at this page. And actually, this looks like one of those crafted pages, but actually, I believe it was my brown, and I had used it like a watercolor. It was probably the brown Craftsmart, but I had dipped it in the paintbrush in a water, and it actually looks just like a craft page. This was another one where, yeah, it's a different body, but I had this bow, so I cut this neck off and put the bow up under her collar. But I've got to go back and do some more to this. And this was one of those big sheets in the variety. You know, the whole page is just filled with all these colorful words. So I thought, well, when I'm, you know, had the page in my hand, I started from the back and go through my book and say, okay, this is the page I want to put it on. I might set it on there. There went one of my letters. I set it on there and say, yes, it goes with that one. And when I cut her out, I knew that I had to put her on a colorful page so she would pop and stand out. And this was another where I cut the lady out like the one that was on that page over here. Well, it's further back. But when I cut her out, I thought that looks like it could be that lady's nose. And then I cut her lips out and put them on top. This here, I think, I'm not satisfied with. It's just a waste of marker. But I'll probably end up covering 80% of it up. But every time I put something on it, it's like, no, it just don't work. This one here, this page was done, this page was not. This was an interesting page because I had found this couple in, I think, a grocery store magazine. I said, this would make a good silhouette, you know. So I put it through the laminator, and that's what I did. And went around it with the my purple. And then this one was the flower that I was going to put down. Well, I had cut this figure out and was going to put another head on it. Well, I had laid it on these flowers and was going to find a head, and oh my gosh, it looked like a head right there. And I don't know how many times I've had that to happen. Every time I've laid an image on another image, it gave me my answer. And this one I was working on the other day. Had this big green page. And I thought, well, okay, I'll cut the images apart and I'll go through other magazines and find every green, dark green image I could find. And then this is where I thought, well, when I didn't have this part and this part filled in, I thought that's when I reverted back to all the words I had. And some of them were green, so I thought, okay, that's my pop of color. This one here, it needs work. This is not normally how I collage, but this is as far as I got. And this is where I was this morning trying to make this page look like this page. And to marry them together, after I done this page, I took the yellow over here so they would look uniformed. And I'm not done with this one, but I thought I'd mix it up and thought, okay, I'll just use 2 colors and see how that works. And I may go like here with the Posca pen in black. I like this page. I found this image. And, you know, this page was already the blue. I had already stuck these fish on here because I thought, okay, that looks like the bubbles for the fish. And this was like an afterthought after I had, the only thing that was on these 2 pages were these 2 fish, but I thought I better stick them down because they fell out my journal, because I'll stick them in here and then keep flipping through, and they kept falling out, and I thought, let me stick those down because they definitely need to go right here. And then I went around it in the border from something I found in Variety magazine. And here's what I meant when I was talking about, I had, you know, my journal that I have, like the Rolodex journal. So I just started cutting letters and words out, and it said, Earlene was on a mission in her boots. And I believe these vegetables came out of a Sam's grocery store ad. I think you all seen that one. Here's one I done a week ago or so, and I found this gas pump and it was purple like that, so it reminded me, so I said, let me see if I can put that with her. Another stinking cute page. I don't remember, I think it might have been a grocery store, no, excuse me, maybe a Variety magazine. And here was a page I was working on, and you know, I painted over it in the yellow to tone down the black leaves, and then I went back over in the red, which I'm not all that happy about, but I'm gonna leave it for now in case I may cover up most of it. And then I found these green letters, these green words, and I'd cut up the letters. And I may go around each one of them in black. This was one done the other day. This was one I worked on yesterday. I worked on this one this morning, and I had already covered these leaves up, and I had put this down, but I've got to put a couple more layers of something. And these were 2 separate images, but like I said, as I was going through, I thought that would look good there and this would look good there. Don't know where the rest of it's going, but I think they look good there. And actually, I had to tear this page out and flip it around and stick it over here. So now I have 2 pages that were done. But I had to stick it on the back of this one because I had sliced up this page and threaded her through. And then I had actually cut her hands away from her body, threaded her through, then put her hands on top. But then when I came to the back, I had all those threads back here, and I had to cover it up, so I took another page, like a blank page over here, cut it off, flipped it around, and put it over here so it would cover that up. And I need to put something else for a border to make it pop. And like I was, this is how I was going through like last night. You know, I took my image after I had made my focal points, and I had already, you know, fixed my page. I had put the border around there. Didn't know what I was going to do, but then I seen her. I put her head on it, her holding on to this, and I stuck her down because, like I said, I went from back to front looking to see what page she would look good on. I put her down, and then I started rummaging through some, you know, what am I going to fill it up with? But I found this lady's dress, which, okay, this is the bottom part of the lady's dress. I thought, well, maybe this could be, you know, since I had, her head was shaved off at the top, I thought maybe I could put that up here for her headdress. And then I thought about putting this over here. I like this word. It seems to go with this page. Oh, this was a pie. So I thought about putting that there because it seems to lend itself to brown. But I didn't know if I was going to use the dress as her hat or this bracelet. Which, yeah, that goes good with it, but I'm not getting, you know, like maybe a wow factor, or maybe use both. There you go. Just play around with it. But actually, I had used the other part of the pie to, so anyway, I'll put this here. And I'll move on to another page. And then one night I had a lot of blue images. And I said, well, I'll stick that there. But I actually just painted the whole page green. Then put my washi tape. Which someone said, oh, it won't stick. Well, it will. Just be careful. Some will, some won't. But I don't know. I guess some people will stick their washi tape, you know, on their shirt and pull it off a couple times. But after painted over, yeah, well, I guess you're kind of gluing it down on the edges when you paint over. But I just took my brush and went over the parts that were pulled up. And, you know, they're going to get covered up anyway. So one I was working on yesterday. Have not finished it. My dog behind me snoring. And then here's my first page. Oh, and I meant to show y'all something else. Here is, you know, what I've done. I always, you know, make that my folder to hold my tags. I always cut that off. And, you know, I just took my white pad, like one of these right here, Craft Smart, and stamped this down. But actually I had done over this in the purple, and you know, this looks like manila, but when I went over it with my purple, it made it look like wood. I thought that had an interesting effect. But I did notice one thing. This here white is very chalky. So just be careful of that, because you can see how it transferred. But what I did was took some cheap hairspray and sprayed it. And it shouldn't rub any more off it after you do the hairspray. But anyway, like I said, I started through and I had this here image, which I had made last night, you know, head to a body, and then I found these cookies, because once again, I think her head had to be chopped off. But I think, you know, when I'm going through, and I knew she had to go that way, but anyway, as I was going through the pages, I know this page is done, but, you know, I might say, okay, I'll put her here, just to see if this is the color page I want to use. Do I want to use orange and blue? What do I want to, or do I want to use pink? But then when I come to this page, and I thought, how would she look on green? But you know what? After I done that, I thought, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put her right there. I think that's a good spot. So that's why I was painting around that in red to pick up the red in her lips. And I I thought, there's no rhyme or reason. I don't have to, because she's here like that, I don't have to find an empty page. Why can't these two go together? And I thought, that's what I'll do. And that's how you find your inspiration, or find your wacky designs. So, hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you'll subscribe, and see you tomorrow.